Be me 34, work in human resources, devoted my 20s to the cause. I've read every article, attended every workshop, made it my mission to make spaces safer, genuinely believed I was helping create a better world. Fast forward to last Tuesday, sitting in my corner office reviewing our latest diversity metrics, feeling pretty good about the 60% female hiring rate in our department. Young guy walks in for his probation review. Tyler, 24, joined us 6 months ago. Stanford grad, impeccable resume, quiet, always apologizes for everything. Sits down and won't make eye contact. Tyler, you wanted to talk about something? He shifts uncomfortably. I need to resign. I'm sorry. Wait, what? This kid has been performing decently, no issues. Why would he quit? Can I ask why? Is someone making you uncomfortable here? He laughs, but it's hollow. No, everyone's been nice. Too nice, maybe. I don't know how to explain it. Now I'm concerned because this could be a lawsuit waiting to happen. You can tell me anything, this is a safe space. He winces at that phrase. Actually, physically winces. That's kind of the problem, he says. Everything's a safe space. Everyone's so careful around me. I feel like I'm walking on eggshells, made of other eggshells. Try to unpack this. Tyler, we pride ourselves on creating an inclusive environment where men have to apologize for existing, he interrupts, then immediately, sorry, I shouldn't have interrupted you. See? I can't stop apologizing. Feel a weird defensive anger rising. Tyler, nobody's asking you to apologize for being a man. He looks at me for the first time. Aren't you though? Last month's mandatory training was literally called Unpacking Male Privilege in the Workplace. That's not about making you apologize, it's about awareness. I'm aware, he cuts in again. I'm so fucking aware. Sorry for swearing. Sorry for... He stops himself. Do you know what it's like to second guess every single interaction? Every email I send goes through 3 drafts because I'm terrified of sounding too assertive. I let Sarah take credit for my algorithm optimization because I didn't want to seem like I was mansplaining my own work. Sarah did present that work. I remember being proud of her initiative. Feel something uncomfortable stirring in my chest. In college, he continues, I had an RA who made all the guys in our dorm attend a seminar on sexual consent that started with, let's discuss how men are socialized to be predators. I was 18. I'd never even kissed anyone, but there I was, nodding along, learning that something was fundamentally wrong with me. Want to tell him he's being dramatic, but he's not raising his voice. He just sounds tired. My little brother is 16, Tyler says. Last week he asked me if it was true that masculinity is a mental illness. Someone told him that. He believed it. He's in therapy now, not because something happened to him, but because he feels guilty about going through puberty. This is clearly an exaggeration. Has to be. Tyler, I think you're conflating criticism of toxic behaviors with what? With just being male? Because from where I'm sitting, they're treated as the same thing. He pulls out his phone, shows me his notes app. It's a list titled, Things I've Been Told Are Problematic About Me. Scroll through it, having opinions about subjects I'm knowledgeable in, mansplaining, holding doors, benevolent sexism, going to the gym, celebrating toxic masculine beauty standards, not crying during a movie, emotional unavailability, crying during a different movie, performative sensitivity, offering to help a colleague with heavy boxes, assuming women are weak, not offering to help, lack of empathy, sitting with legs apart on an empty train at 11 p.m, manspreading. The list goes on. Feel myself getting defensive. Tyler, some of these are clearly about context. I know, he almost shouts. Then quieter. Sorry, I know, that's the problem. The context is that I'm always wrong. There's always a reason why what I did was problematic. The rules change, but the conclusion stays the same. Male behavior is the problem. Try a different approach. What would you want instead? A world where men can just do whatever they want without considering others. I want a world where I'm not broken by default, he says simply. Something about the way he says it. So matter of fact. Hits different than expected. I've been on dating apps for 3 years, he continues. Do you know what my bio says? Feminist, emotionally available, here to listen and learn. Do you know how many dates that's gotten me? 0. Not because women don't like those things, but because I sound like I'm apologizing for existing before we've even met. Maybe you're just not meeting the right... My roommate, Jake, he doesn't apologize for anything. Hasn't read a single article about deconstructing masculinity. Posts gym selfies. Says what he thinks. Women love him. And, before you say it, no, he's not an asshole. He's just comfortable being himself. Want to argue that Jake probably is an asshole, but don't actually know Jake. Tyler continues, I spent years becoming the kind of man I was told women wanted. Sensitive, aware, deferential, and you know what I became? Invisible. Or worse, a good friend who gets to hear about the guys they actually want to date. So, this is about dating? I ask, unable to hide my incredulity. Feel like I've found the real issue. Of course it's about not getting laid. No, he says firmly. It's about being told that everything natural to me is dangerous. I wanted to join a boxing gym, and my therapist, yes, I'm in therapy too, asked me to examine why I felt the need to express aggression. I wasn't expressing aggression, I just wanted to hit a bag and get exercise. I wanted to start a business and got lectured about masculine obsession with competition instead of collaboration. I wanted to have an opinion about politics and got told to sit back and listen because I'd had enough centuries of talking. Feel the need to interrupt. Tyler, surely you understand that historically, I'm not history. He's standing now. I didn't own slaves. I didn't prevent women from voting. I didn't write the laws or run the companies or start the wars. I'm just a guy who was born in 1999 and has spent his entire conscious life being told he's part of the problem. Sit back in my chair. This is not how I expected this meeting to go. My dad doesn't get it, Tyler says, sitting back down. He tells me to man up, but that's the thing. I don't even know what that means anymore. Every definition of manhood I was given came with a disclaimer about toxicity. So I opted out. I became nothing. I took up no space. I had no strong opinions. I was whatever I needed to be for everyone else. And it's killing me. There's silence. Can hear the office hum outside. Where will you go? I finally ask. Colorado. My uncle has a construction company. He needs guys who can frame houses and show up on time. No diversity seminars. No unpacking privilege. Just work. Feel a strange panic. You have a degree from Stanford and you're going to do construction? Yeah, he says, and he's smiling for the first time. Maybe I'll build something real instead of optimizing ad algorithms. Maybe I'll work with guys who don't apologize for having opinions. Maybe I'll remember what it feels like to just be. He gets up to leave. Pause. Tyler, wait. Turns back. Do you really think it's that bad? The messaging, I mean. Do you think we... Catch myself. Don't finish the question. But he answers anyway. Do I think you poisoned my generation? I think you tried to help and didn't realize some of us would drink the whole bottle. Leaves. Sit there for a long time. Start thinking about things I haven't let myself think about. My nephew, who's 22 and still lives at home, barely leaves his room. My friend's son, who's on his third gap year because he can't decide what he's allowed to be passionate about. The young men in our company who speak in meetings like they're constantly bracing for correction. Pull up our hiring data. Notice something I've celebrated before but feels different now. Our entry-level positions are 60% women, but our retention rate for young men under 25 is abysmal. They leave within a year, never thought to ask why. Always assumed they couldn't handle workplace equality. Start scrolling through the mandatory training modules we make new hires complete. Recognizing your privilege. Allyship in action. When your impact doesn't match your intent. All good things. All necessary, right? Think about the time I made a joke in a meeting about how nice it was to finally have some estrogen in the engineering department. Everyone laughed, except the 3 young guys who just nodded along. Would I have made a joke about finally having testosterone somewhere? Think about the motivational poster in our break room. The future is female. What does that say to the 22-year-old guy getting his coffee? Shake my head. No. This is ridiculous. Tyler is just one person. Probably an outlier. Except, start thinking about trends I've noticed but never connected. Young men checking out of higher education. Young men leaving progressive spaces. Young men going quiet in conversations about gender. Always attributed it to fragility. Wounded male egos unable to handle losing privilege. But what if? No. Pull up my group chat with my book club friends. All women, all progressive, all my age. Scroll back through months of conversations. Notice how many are about the men in our lives. Brothers, sons, nephews, colleagues. Notice the words we use. Immature, lost, refusing to grow, stuck. Notice we never ask why. We just assume they're failing to adapt to a better world. Get a text from my sister. Can I call you? It's about Josh. Josh is her 19-year-old son. My nephew. The one who doesn't leave his room. Call her. He finally told me what's wrong, she says, crying. What is it? He says he doesn't know how to be. He's terrified of becoming toxic, but he doesn't know what the alternative is. He's paralyzed. Feel something crack in my chest. Did something happen? Did someone tell him? That's the thing, she interrupts. Nobody had to tell him directly. It's everywhere. It's in his classes, his social media, his friend groups. The message that there's something fundamentally wrong with being a young man. But we never said that, I protest. We said toxic masculinity, not masculinity itself. Can you honestly say you made that distinction clear? Or did we just assume everyone would understand the nuance while we posted things like men are trash and kill all men as jokes? Remember laughing at those jokes? Remember thinking men who couldn't take those jokes were proving the point? He told me, my sister continues, that he wishes he'd been born a girl. Not because he feels like a girl, but because then people would assume the best about him instead of the worst. Have to sit down. Sarah, I don't think we meant... I know we didn't mean this, but we did it anyway. We were so focused on smashing the patriarchy that we didn't notice we were hammering a bunch of kids who never built it. Hang up, sit in my office as it gets dark outside. Start going down a rabbit hole online. Look up men's mental health statistics, suicide rates, educational attainment, workforce participation, loneliness epidemic. All the trends going the wrong direction. Find forums where young men talk to each other. Expect to find the toxic cesspools I've been warned about. Some of that is there, but mostly find guys who sound like Tyler, confused, hurt, trying to figure out how to exist. One post. I'm 23 and I've never approached a woman because I'm terrified of making her uncomfortable. I've also never been on a date. I don't know what to do. Another. My professor said men need to sit back and make room for other voices, so I stopped participating in class. Now I'm failing because of lack of participation. I can't win. Another. I cried in front of my girlfriend because everyone says men need to show emotions. She broke up with me a week later and told her friends I was weak. They all agreed. Close the laptop. Feel sick. Think about my own dating life. The men I've dated. The ones I respected versus the ones I was attracted to. Uncomfortable truths emerging. The guys who listened to everything, agreed with everything, supported everything. Friend-zoned. The guys who challenged me, had strong opinions, took up space. The ones I wanted. Remember a date from 2 years ago? Guy named Marcus. Told me about his startup idea. Was passionate, animated, clearly excited. Remember feeling annoyed. Told my friends he monopolized the conversation and didn't ask enough about me. There wasn't a second date, but was that fair? Or was I uncomfortable with unbridled male enthusiasm? Think about what I claim to want versus what I respond to. Think about the mixed messages. Be vulnerable but not weak. Be confident but not arrogant. Be passionate but not domineering. Be masculine but not toxic. Have opinions but defer to ours. Take up space but not too much. Lead but from behind. Start crying. Don't even know why at first. Then realize. Realize I've spent a decade being so sure. So certain about what was wrong with the world, so focused on my own experiences and my own pain, that I never stopped to ask if the medicine had side effects, never stopped to wonder if you could overcorrect. Pull up a document, start writing. Don't know what it is yet, just need to process. I think we made a mistake. Delete it. Sounds too simple. Try again. I think in our rush to deconstruct toxic masculinity, we deconstructed masculinity itself. Stare at that sentence. Is that true? Think about the young men I know. Really think about them. They're not toxic. They're not aggressive or domineering or sexist. They're nothing. They're ghosts. Apologizing for existing. Asking permission to have opinions. Sitting in the back. Opting out. Disappearing. Remember a meeting 6 months ago. Pitched an idea for a mentorship program. Women mentoring women in tech. Got approved immediately. Got funding. Got resources. Got celebrated. One of the young guys asked afterward if there would be a men's mentorship program. Laughed at him. Actually laughed. Said, "Men have had mentorship since the beginning of time. It's called history." He never asked about anything again. Now wondering what he needed. What question he was really asking. Whether he was looking for guidance on how to navigate this new world. And I shut him down with a quip. Get up. Walk through the empty office. Look at the posters, the messaging, the culture we've built. All positive. All inclusive, all celebrating women and marginalized groups, nothing for half the population. No, wait. That's not fair. There are things for men. Training on what not to do, seminars on privilege, workshops on allyship, how to be better, how to take up less space, how to listen more, all framed around what's wrong with them. Nothing about what's right, nothing celebrating healthy masculine traits, courage, strength, protection, providing, building. All suspect now. All potentially toxic. Sit back down at my desk. Pull up Tyler's resignation. Haven't processed it yet. Write in the notes section. Exit interview reveals concerns about workplace culture. Employee felt unable to express masculine traits without judgment. Reported excessive self-monitoring and anxiety about basic interactions. Described feeling broken by default. Stare at what I wrote. This should be a wake-up call. But will anyone listen? Or will they say Tyler is fragile, entitled, can't handle equality? Test this theory. Send a message to the Human Resources Director's chat. Had an interesting exit interview today. Young male employee felt our inclusion training made him feel inherently problematic. Thoughts? Responses come in. Marie. Sounds like fragile masculinity, to be honest. Janet. They always think equality feels like oppression. Rebecca. Did you document this? Could be a backlash issue. Only one. David, one of 2 men in our human resources leadership. How many is this now? 4th young guy this quarter with similar feedback. Look it up. He's right. 5 actually. Never connected the dots. Respond to David. You've noticed this pattern? David. Hard not to. Can we talk tomorrow? Not comfortable discussing in group chat. Interesting. Our male human resources director doesn't feel comfortable sharing his thoughts in a chat. In human resources, the department designed for people to feel safe sharing. Next morning, meet David for coffee. He looks tired. Thanks for bringing this up, he starts. I've been trying to figure out how to raise it. Why haven't you? He laughs bitterly. Because I'm a man in human resources trying to advocate for other men. Do you know how that looks? I'd be accused of protecting the patriarchy from inside the diversity department. Want to say that's ridiculous. But is it? What are you seeing? I ask instead. He pulls out his own notes. Turns out he's been tracking this. Retention rates, exit interviews, incident reports. Young men leaving in droves. Young men reporting hostile work environment, dismissed. Young men asking for support, told to be allies instead. I had a 25-year-old breakdown in my office last month, David says. Told me he's been in therapy for 3 years trying to unlearn his masculinity. His therapist has him doing exercises to suppress his anger, his competitiveness, his sex drive. He's on antidepressants now. Says he feels nothing. We're not responsible for his therapy. Aren't we? We mandated he see someone after he got into an argument with a colleague. A normal workplace disagreement. But he's male, she's female, so we sent him to sensitivity training and required therapy. Remember that incident, sided with the woman automatically. Standard protocol. What do you think we should do? I ask. David looks at me like I've offered him water in a desert. I think we should start by admitting there's a problem. I think we should ask ourselves if our policies are equitable or punitive. I think we should consider that maybe, just maybe, we've overcorrected. That word again. Overcorrected. Spend the rest of the day thinking. Looking at things differently. See Marcus, 26, eating lunch alone. Always eats alone. Never speaks in meetings unless directly asked. Always looks exhausted. Used to think he was antisocial. Now wondering if he's just tired of walking on eggshells. See the women in the office. Laughing. Taking up space. Confident. This is good. This is what we wanted. But did it have to come at the cost of the men being diminished? Is equality a zero-sum game? Have operated under the assumption it is, that men need to shrink for women to grow. But looking around, maybe everyone just ends up smaller. Go home. Can't stop thinking. Pull up my old blog. Haven't posted in years. Used to write about feminism, equality, social justice. Read my old posts. So angry, so certain, so focused on everything wrong with men. Find a post from 2016. Why we need to destroy masculinity to save men. 3,000 shares. Hundreds of comments agreeing. Scroll through them. Women celebrating. Some men agreeing enthusiastically. Wonder what happened to those men. Wonder if they're like Tyler now. Or my nephew. Or the guy who broke down in David's office. Start writing a new post. Title it, I think we made a mistake. Write for hours. Everything I've been thinking. The pattern I've noticed. The young men checking out. The overcorrection. The inability to distinguish between toxic masculinity and masculinity. The mixed messages. The assumption that male is default wrong. Write about Tyler. About my nephew. About the statistics. About the forums full of lost young men. Right. We were so focused on our own pain that we became inflictors of pain. Right. We wanted to be seen, and in our urgency made half the population invisible. Right. We said we wanted equality, but celebrated when men failed. Right until 3 a.m. Read it over. It's honest. It's vulnerable. It's probably career suicide. Hover over the publish button. Think about what will happen. The accusations of betraying feminism, the claims I'm protecting patriarchy, the people who will say I'm just seeking male approval. Think about Tyler moving to Colorado, about my nephew in his room, about the young men disappearing into silence, about the question couldn't finish asking Tyler, do you really think we poisoned an entire generation of men? His answer, I think you tried to help and didn't realize some of us would drink the whole bottle. Hit publish, close the laptop, don't sleep, check the post in the morning. 200 comments already. Brace myself. Half are exactly what I expected. Internalized misogyny. Pick me energy. Couldn't handle being one of the good ones. Men don't need defending. But the other half. Women saying, I've noticed this too. Women saying, my son is struggling with this. Women saying, thank you for saying what I was afraid to. And men, so many men. Young men saying, this is exactly how I feel. Saying, I thought I was the only one. Saying, I've been waiting for someone to notice. One comment from a 23-year-old. I'm in college and I've never raised my hand in class. I wrote my opinions once in a paper and got accused of male aggression in my writing style. I don't know how to write differently, so now I just agree with whatever the professor says. I'm getting straight A's and learning nothing. I'm so tired of being afraid. Read that 3 times. Feel something breaking and building at the same time. Get a call from my boss. We need to talk about your blog post. Here it comes. Walk to her office, prepared for termination. She closes the door, looks at me for a long moment. My son is 28, she finally says. He hasn't dated in 5 years. He's terrified of women, not because he's been abused, but because he's been told his entire adult life that male sexuality is predatory. He's paralyzed. Wasn't expecting this. I've been a feminist my entire life, she continues. I marched, I fought, I raised my son to respect women, to listen, to be aware of his privilege, and somehow he ended up believing he has no right to want anything, no right to pursue anyone, no right to take up any space. She's crying. I don't know how we fix this, she says, but we have to try, because we did this. Our generation did this to theirs. Sit with that. We did this. With good intentions, with righteous anger at real injustices, with genuine desire for a better world. But we did it nonetheless. What do we do? I ask. She wipes her eyes. I don't know, but maybe start by admitting it. Maybe stop treating masculinity itself as the problem. Maybe make space for young men to exist without apology. Nod. Go back to my office. Send an email to Tyler. You were right. I'm sorry. I hope Colorado is good to you. I hope you build something real. And I hope someday someone builds workplaces where people like you don't have to choose between being yourself and being employed. He responds an hour later. Thank you. That means more than you know. For what it's worth, I don't think you're a bad person. I just think you're part of a generation that was so focused on the fight that you didn't notice who was in the crossfire. Read that sentence over and over. Who was in the crossfire? The young men who inherited the blame for systems they didn't create, who tried to be what we told them to be, who suppressed themselves into nothing, who disappeared. Think about how to move forward, realize I don't have all the answers. Maybe that's the first step, admitting I don't know, that the certainty I had was false, that the world is more complicated than oppressor and oppressed, that you can be right about the problem and wrong about the solution, that good intentions can still cause harm. Look at the photo on my desk, me at the Women's March in 2017. Holding a sign, so sure I was on the right side of history, still believe in equality, still believe in justice. But maybe the way forward isn't making anyone smaller. It's making the space bigger, for everyone, including the young men we forgot to consider, including Tyler, including my nephew, including the ones who are quiet now, who opted out, who checked out, who gave up. Sit back in my chair. Long day ahead, long road ahead, but at least now I can see it. The question Tyler couldn't quite ask, the one I couldn't quite answer. Did we poison an entire generation of men? Don't know if poison is the right word, but we hurt them in trying to heal ourselves. We hurt them. And now, Now we have to figure out how to acknowledge that, without losing sight of why we started fighting in the first place, how to make room without giving up ground, how to lift everyone up instead of pushing anyone down. Don't have the answers, but at least I'm finally asking the right questions. At least I'm finally looking. At least I'm finally seeing the young men who've been invisible. It's a start. It has to be.